Right, so in this project we're going to be looking at Egyptian art, and in this particular session we're going to be looking at the way the Egyptians wrote down messages on the walls, on papyrus, lots of different places. And if you notice, they used pictures rather than words, and these pictures were called hieroglyphs. Okay, so we have here hieroglyphic alphabet, and these were worked out, these little images here all stand for different letters of our alphabet, and this was worked out because of the French. In Napoleon's time they found the Rosetta Stone in the village of Rosetta, and on that stone there was 3 different sets of text, one written in hieroglyphs, one written in Greek, and one written in Demotic. And researchers worked out, through looking at the Greek and the Demotic and comparing them, they worked out, they said the same thing, and so they worked out what these little images stood for. So the Egyptians used pictures for each letter of the alphabet, and if you notice, the pictures are quite simple, not a great deal of detail, but they represented things that were around at that time, so things they were familiar with. Now when we do our hieroglyphic alphabet, are going to do something similar, but you're going to come up with images for each letter of the alphabet, and the images are going to be familiar things to you. Now, easy way of doing this, I have found, some people just put different everyday images down, but the easy way to do it is think of the letter of our alphabet and think of an image that can go with that letter. So as an example, we could have, for A, we could have an apple. Now what you've got to do is you've got to make these images quite simple, because if you think you're going to be writing again and again, and when you're writing something you want to be writing pretty quick, so make them what we call almost graphical, which is a simplified image. Hopefully you can work out what it is I'm going to produce here. I'm going to produce an apple. Put a leaf on there, and it could be as simple as that. Okay, I want it to be a decent size so we can see it, so make it fill up there. B, what could we have for B? Oh, we could have a book. I'm going to do an open book on this one, so we can have it open there with the binding, and then what happens with the open book, you get some pages coming out this side, some pages coming out that side. We could even make it slightly 3D, so we can have little lines coming in there, and you get an image, something like that. Okay, so again, keep it simple, something like that. C, what could we have for C? It's quite interesting thinking about things that you know you can actually have. Can you guess what it is? We can have a little cat. Some of the letters are harder than others. Some of them you're going to take a little bit of thinking about to actually suss out what it could be. There we go, so we're going to have something like that there. Whoop. And that there, with his paws. You can get his back coming out there. In fact, what you could even do is put the back leg coming up round there. That would be quite cool, and then we could have a tail coming up. Something like that. So what I'm going to be asking you to do is come up with a simple image for each letter of the alphabet. Remember to keep it quite simple, because you are going to be using these later on in this project. We're going to be writing something using what you've got here. Once you've mapped it all out, I want you to use pencil crayon to add a little bit of colour to it as well. Okay, so we could start off here with the green. Remember, one useful tip which we learned in the first project is when you're colouring in a shape, if you go around the inside edge first, then you're less likely to be scribbling over the edge and making a mess of it like that. So we can get the green coloured in there, and let's give it a slight hint of red as well on there. So something like that. That's quite cool. Oh, I've not got a brown, so I'm just going to fill that in with red there. In fact, if I go over that with green, we're going to get a brown colour. Yes, we are. And do you know why? Because the three primary colours, red, yellow and blue, when you mix them together, they make brown. So we've got red. Green is made from yellow and blue. Hey presto, you get brown. Perfecto. Okay, so I'm going to be asking you to come up with a letter, come up with a picture for each letter of the alphabet, and then decorate using pencil crayon. This should take you about 2 sessions to complete it fully. Okay, let's see what you can do.